No way to call for help, just endless water in every direction, and something moving beneath the surface. Today, we're diving into the terrifying, true story-inspired survival film Open Water, a movie that proves sometimes nature can be far scarier than any monster. Let's begin. The Vacation. The story follows a married couple, Daniel and Susan, who are living busy and stressful lives. Like many people, they barely find time for each other. Hoping to relax and reconnect, they decide to take a vacation to a tropical island paradise. Everything seems perfect. The weather is beautiful, the ocean is crystal clear, and for a few days they enjoy the peaceful atmosphere away from their everyday problems. Wanting to make the most of their trip, they sign up for a scuba diving excursion. It seems like an exciting adventure. A boat full of tourists heads out into the open ocean toward a popular diving location known for its colorful coral reefs and exotic sea life. Everyone is excited. Nobody has any idea that this simple excursion will soon turn into a nightmare, entering the ocean. The group arrives at the diving site. One by one, the divers enter the water. Daniel and Susan descend beneath the surface and begin exploring the underwater world. The view is breathtaking. Schools of fish swim around them. Beautiful coral formations stretch across the ocean floor. For a while, they completely lose track of time. They are focused on enjoying the experience. Meanwhile, back on the boat, the crew begins preparing to leave. Divers start returning to the vessel. Equipment is counted. Passengers are checked. But during the confusion, a critical mistake is made. A miscount occurs. The crew mistakenly believes that every diver has returned. Without realizing two people are still in the water, the boat leaves the area. Daniel and Susan have been forgotten. The horrifying discovery. After finishing their dive, the couple returns to the surface. At first, they expect to see the boat nearby, but something feels wrong. They look around. Nothing. No boat, no tourists, no sign of help, just open ocean. For a moment, they think the boat may be hidden behind a wave. Perhaps it drifted a short distance away. But as the minutes pass, reality sinks in. The boat is gone and they are completely alone. Panic begins to set in. They shout, they wave, but there is nobody there to hear them, trying to stay calm. At first, they remain optimistic. Surely someone will realize the mistake. Surely the boat will come back. They decide to conserve their energy and float together while waiting for rescue. Hours pass. The sun climbs higher in the sky. The heat becomes unbearable. Their diving suits offer some protection, but the constant exposure begins taking a toll. The ocean that looked so beautiful earlier now feels endless and terrifying. Every direction looks exactly the same. There is no landmark. No indication of where help might come from. Something in the water. As time passes, they begin noticing movement around them. Dark shapes appear beneath the surface. At first, they convince themselves it's harmless marine life, but then they spot a fin, a shark. The animal circles them briefly before disappearing into the depths. The sight immediately changes everything. Their fear skyrockets. Now they are not only stranded, they are stranded in shark-infested waters. The first night. Eventually, daylight begins to fade. The sun sinks toward the horizon, and with every passing minute, the situation becomes more desperate. Night in the open ocean is unlike anything most people can imagine. Darkness surrounds them completely. The water becomes cold. Visibility disappears. Every splash sounds threatening. Every movement beneath the surface feels dangerous. Daniel and Susan cling to each other for comfort. They talk about their lives, their memories, their regrets, their hopes. The conversations become deeply emotional because both of them are beginning to realize that rescue may not arrive in time. Fear takes over. Throughout the night, strange creatures move beneath them. Sometimes something brushes against their legs. Sometimes they hear splashing nearby. The uncertainty is almost worse than the danger itself. Their minds begin imagining the worst. Sleep is impossible. They are exhausted, hungry, dehydrated, terrified, yet they continue fighting to survive. The search begins. Back on land, nobody initially notices their disappearance. The boat crew completes its day as usual. Only much later does someone discover that two divers never returned. Panic spreads. Emergency search teams are contacted. Boats are dispatched. Aircraft begin scanning the ocean. But there is a huge problem. The ocean is enormous. Finding two people floating in open water is like finding a needle in a haystack. Despite everyone's efforts, locating them becomes incredibly difficult. The second day. Morning finally arrives. Instead of bringing hope, it reveals how much worse their condition has become. They are severely dehydrated. Their skin is damaged by exposure. Their muscles ache from constantly treading water. The psychological strain is becoming unbearable. They continue scanning the horizon for signs of rescue. Every distant shape appears to be a boat. Every reflection of sunlight creates false hope. But each time, disappointment follows. The sharks return. As the day progresses, the sharks become more aggressive. Several begin circling closer. The water around the couple feels increasingly dangerous. Every movement attracts attention. Every splash creates tension. The ocean's predators seem to understand that these exhausted humans are vulnerable. Daniel and Susan try to remain calm. They know panic could make the situation worse, but fear is becoming impossible to control, losing hope. Hours continue passing. The couple becomes physically and emotionally drained. They begin discussing the possibility that they may never be found. The realization is heartbreaking. They had started the day expecting an exciting vacation memory. Instead, they are facing a life-or-death struggle against nature itself. The endless ocean seems indifferent to their suffering. There is no rescue in sight, no miracle on the horizon, only water, endless water, the final struggle. As conditions worsen, survival becomes nearly impossible. The combination of dehydration, exhaustion, exposure, and constant fear pushes them beyond their limits. The sharks continue appearing nearby. The waves never stop. The sun never stops burning. The ocean never offers mercy. At this point, the movie shifts from being a survival story to something much deeper. It becomes a story about human vulnerability. A reminder that despite all our technology and confidence, nature remains far more powerful than us. Ending and message. The film concludes on a tragic and emotional note, emphasizing the devastating consequences of a simple human error. A single miscount, a single mistake, and 2 lives are changed forever. What makes open water so terrifying is that it doesn't rely on monsters, ghosts, or supernatural forces. Its horror comes from reality, the fear of being forgotten, the fear of being helpless, and the realization that sometimes the most beautiful places on Earth can also be the most dangerous. Outro. So that was the story of Open Water. If you enjoyed this movie explanation, make sure to like the video, subscribe to MI Official, and let us know in the comments. What would you do if you found yourself stranded in the middle of the ocean?